people like to be close to their food source. And they'll pick even bad apples off the tree as long as they picked it off the tree. If I try to sell it in markets, it won't sell. But they feel like it's coming right off the tree, it is fresh and whatever. And a lot of people like that environment. It's a wholesome one for them too, to know where their food stuff comes from. And I think they feel closer to nature by doing that.
And when we have the cornstalk teepee and the hay fort and the kids just come and play, yeah, parents come out and buy 2 apples and let the kids play for an hour. And that's fine. They, if they live in an apartment or whatever, this is a good place to come and run.
We feel good about living here. We thought when the fracking came about that we would move, we would go someplace where there was no fracking, and we looked at Vermont. And actually, when you start looking around, every state has its issues, and maybe it's just good to stick with what you have, and if you feel it needs to be changed, try and change it. If it doesn't need to be changed, live comfortably.
The one thing we've lost is a small ski area that used to exist about 8-9 miles out of town, Mount Otsego.
It's a good community to work within. They usually have benefits for somebody that is ill or financially going through a financial rough time, and so as I say, it's a pretty good community where everybody knows everybody, and sometimes a little bit too much, I guess.
I've gone to the county courthouse and looked at land deeds and found out that if those leases were utilized, that it'd be the end of this place. Totally. There would be no tourism. There would be no fresh air. The water would be what would happen to here, what has happened in countless other places that we know of now.
If you can transform a project from looking like something that nobody could possibly hang on their wall to something that they would like to hang on their wall, that can be a satisfying experience.
Okay, Sarah, if you turn around, that top photo is Santa's cottage.
Mary and I just have so many really strong friendships. People that are just so good-hearted and community-minded people, helping each other. You'd never have to worry if you had a problem. There would be 15 people you could call that would help you. It's just a really special place to be.
For example, when they go back home, let's just say they come to Oneonta as freshmen, and then during that freshman year, if they have a good experience here, and after all, I mean, to put it into its simplest, what is the purpose of a college? Well, to me, it's to provide a place where faculty and students can come together for the purposes of academic instruction.
I'd like to see the farming industry build back up. I think agriculture is going to be one of our greatest assets. I'd like to see us move more towards alternative energies, get away from fossil fuels, learning to recycle and reuse items more. I don't want to see us become more industrialized.
I asked for a show of hands of who's been to the beach and seen this, and I get 2 or 3 people out of the class, and then I asked for a show of hands out of that same class, how many people have actually been to the ocean, and I get less than a quarter of the class has been to the ocean. Many of these students were brought up in Long Island, they're biology majors. How is this happening? We're losing complete contact with nature. Even my environmental science students, many of them, have learned what they know about environmental science through the computers. Very little by personal observation.
What's your favorite part about living in Cooperstown?
I think the intimacy that you, over the years, that you make with friends, the community that will support you in good times and bad times.
And I hope, some of our shows really got the message through to the kids. At least it didn't hurt. I mean, we were commissioned to do a show on Holocaust issues for the Holocaust education curriculum in New Jersey. So we did a show about hate crimes and Nazis and skinheads, and what I figure is it's a little vaccination for the kids against other messages that they're going to hear, which are hateful messages.
I studied folk culture and studied the folk, but I maybe was never very comfortable on that side of the microphone, interviewing and talking. And although I'm interested always in what people's lives are like and what they're doing, I guess I became more interested in being one of the folk rather than studying the folk. And so I lived in an old farmhouse, and I've been playing the fiddle for so many years and doing what I just do, following a folk art like puppetry, which, is certainly not a formal art, at least not in this country.
I call it the rite of spring. You can't have spring till you've made a little maple syrup.
I always tell people that the thing about medicine that you can never forget is the remarkable privilege of intimacy that you gain with people, because you talk to them about things that are very important to them. They trust you to help. It's an extraordinary privilege.
It's not only my early years, it's changed a great deal because the coming of the graduate program, this was, I think, one of the two most profound changes in the association's history.
I like the feeling of accomplishment that comes from building something that you can actually see. A gratification thing going on there probably. But also it's nice when somebody comes and tells you how much they like what you've done. And these opportunities, whether it's watercolor, furniture building, or stone wall building, they're very individual. If you gave the same pile of rocks to 4 different people, you would undoubtedly get 4 very different looking walls.
The lake is our treasure.